Hi, good evening. Am I audible? How are you? Okay. If there is any question related to last lecture from any of you, please ask. If there is any question, please ask. Meanwhile, we will start our class properly within 5 minutes, waiting for the other participants to join. So meanwhile, you can ask your questions. There is a one class we have taken in the last week. Recording will be available on the portal. We have started activity-based costing system, one of the very easiest topic. And today we will be having the practice questions of that topic. And then we will start another topic in today's class. I will, if you, this is your first class, I will try my best that you people can understand our today's lecture. So be patient. Hopefully you will be understanding. And at the end of the class, you may watch the lecture number 1 that will be available in recordings. So let's start our today's lecture. I was waiting for the other participants, but now I guess we should start. So first of all, I will recall you the topics that I have covered in the first class. Just a recap. We started activity-based costing system in our last lecture, and just to recall you that activity-based costing system is an alternative to absorption costing or marginal costing. Basically, the comparison of activity-based costing is with the absorption costing system, in which you might be remembering from your basic paper of management accounting that the cost of the product is calculated by taking into account the material, labor, as well as direct expense. Same concept that the cost of a product is the combination or the sum of material, labor, expenses, as well as fixed overheads. But am I audible now? Okay, I was telling you that in the last lecture we have started activity-based costing system. Activity-based costing system is an alternative approach to absorption costing system. And in activity-based costing, let me recall you that in absorption costing, elements of the cost, the student who is attending the first time, he must be attentive. Uh, so I'm going just a fast revision of the topic. Basically, our aim in this topic is to find the per unit cost of a product. First of all, let's have a look at the absorption costing system. In an absorption costing system, the cost of the material, uh, cost of the labor, cost of direct expenses, the total of direct cost will be known as prime cost, plus overheads are absorbed on the basis of different items. For example, on the basis of labor hours, machine hours, and how we will calculate overhead absorption rate. So overhead absorption rate is equal to budgeted fixed cost divided by budgeted activity level. I assumed in the previous lecture that there is a 100,000 budgeted fixed overheads and budgeted labor hours or machine hours could be 20,000. So the rate will be $5 per direct labor hour depending upon the base chosen. If the base is chosen as direct labor, then the rate will be dollar per direct labor hour. And if the base is chosen as machine hours, then the rate will be $5 per machine hour. So after calculation of the OAR, we will calculate the absorbed overheads. And the absorbed overheads are basically added in the product cost. Here, just like giving you the example that the rate is $5 per hour, and we assume that 1 unit of a product is requiring 4 hours. So there will be $20 overhead cost. Is this clear, especially to the student who is in the first day? Please confirm. Is this process understandable to you? That in absorption costing system, we calculate the cost of the product by adding direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, and absorb the overheads. So this is the basic absorption costing system that you have done so many times at your paper of management accounting. Now, the alternative method or the new topic in this syllabus is activity based costing. Activity based costing is basically the alternative approach of absorption costing system. What is an activity? An activity is any piece of work which is being performed in an organization, for example, purchasing, dispatch, customer services. And for every activity, there is some cost attached to that activity. And this cost is known as activity cost pool. So these are the technical terms in this topic: activity cost pool. And the other one is the cost driver. Basically, cost driver is the reason for incurrence of cost. For example, purchasing cost is incurs based on the number of orders. So number of purchase orders are the reasons for the incurrence of purchasing cost. Similarly, dispatch cost is the reason for sales orders, and the customer services cost is incurred based on the number of customers. So basically, number of customers, number of sales order, number of purchase orders are the cost drivers. So here in ABC, instead of OAR, we calculate the cost driver rate. And based on the cost driver rate, how we will calculate the cost driver rate? Activity cost pool divided by volume of drivers. So we will get a rate, and after calculation of the rate, we will use that rate to absorb the overheads. So basically cost driver rate is the alternative name for OAR. But what is the difference between OAR and cost driver rate? OAR is basically one single rate for one department, whereas the cost driver rate is for each activity. Normally in ABC, the total overheads are segregated into different activities, and every activity has to be dealt with separately. That is, the cost driver should be calculated in a separate manner. So we did 2 3 questions. One question was the GC or EX product, which is a construction company. That there are 2 services that the construction company is providing: garage conversion and extension to properties, GC and EX. And we calculated the cost based on material cost, labor cost, and absorbed overheads. Everything was given in the question. We just do this working, which is the calculation of OAR and then the absorbed overheads. Then we did the same question under ABC. The cost of material and labor was calculated in the same way, but the overheads are calculated into 3 activities: 1, 2, 3, because in the question it was stated that the overheads are divided into 3 activities. So we calculated the cost driver rate for each activity. For example, there was a supervisor's cost. The cost was 90,000 and the base was 500 visits. So the cost driver rate is $180 per visit. And how many visits that GC requires? GC requires 1 visit. So 180 will be multiplied with 1, it will give us 180. And similarly, the second product requires 6 site visits. So I hope that the student who is first time in today's class is understanding. Please confirm. Are you getting the idea of activity-based costing? That how to do the calculation? Is it clear? Just confirm. And then there is another activity which is named as planner's cost. So the rate for planner's cost is calculated by dividing the activity cost pool with the volume of driver, and the rate is 280 per document. The base was given in the question that for planner the base is document. So the per document rate is 280. And how many documents are required for GC? It was given in the question that the 1 document is required. And how many documents are required for EX? It was given that there are 5 documents required. And then there is another activity, property related, and we have calculated the rate of property related activity. The rate was calculated as $6 per direct labor hour. And the direct labor hour information was given in the question. That GC requires 300 hours of labor, EX requires 500 hours of labor, and subsequently we have calculated the cost. Please confirm, is it clear to everyone, and especially the student who is first time in today's class? Because after that, I will move to the practice kit MCQs. So we did this question, and we did another question, and I request you to watch the previous one lecture before coming to the next class. And if you will be having any question or ambiguity, then you may ask me. So moving to the practice kit questions, let me take you to the practice kit. I guess there is some error. Let me open it again. I have shared these 4 files to the students who requested me after the last class. I have already shared. So here is the first question. Which two of the following are not usually are characteristics of the modern manufacturing? So if you have studied from the textbook, you will be able to answer this question. Can you make a guess that which two of the following are not usually characteristics of a modern manufacturing? If you have not studied the book so far, then no issue, just make a guess that which two are not the characteristics of a modern manufacturing techniques. Okay, I received one answer that the last one other students are also requested their opinion. Please be participative. No worries, you will not be deducted or penalized with any marks deduction. Just share. I want to know about your understanding. As I have already told you to make a guess, so don't worry, it's just a guess. Okay, so last two, reduced level of employee participation. Yes, fine. And the last one is increased rigidity in process. Okay. The second one student said that the second option, the greatest, the greater emphasis on quality. As far as the modern manufacturing techniques are concerned, basically due to modernization, manufacturing process improved. Quality is also very important, but as far as the manufacturing is concerned, the last two are the most suitable. So the students who are with the last two, they are on right position. So moving to the next question, which is again a theoretical question. Let's read it. A company produces a range of products and uses an absorption costing system. Which two of the following are unlikely to be a consequence of the company switching to an activity-based costing system? So again, be quick and make a guess that which of the following are not are unlikely to be a consequence. Unlikely mean not. So please be quick and select the two options which are not. I'm waiting. Okay, received one answer, the third and the fourth. Let me read the third. The prime cost will fall. No, prime cost will remain the same. So this is not the. So your answer is right, basically. The statement is wrong, and the examiner is asking which of the following are unlikely. It means we need to answer the wrong statement. So this statement is wrong. Yes, third is the right one. And the fourth, cost control on indirect overhead will be harder to achieve. Okay, yes, these two statements are true. So moving to the calculation based question, and this will test your knowledge. So first of all, remember that if you have uh, a good reading, then you can understand the question. And if you have understood the question, then you can answer the question in a right way. So pay your attention. A company which makes two products, alpha and zeta, using activity-based costing to absorb its overheads. It has recently identified a new overhead cost pool for inspection cost and has decided that the cost driver is the number of inspection. So if we look at this, the driver is number of inspections. So the driver is a number of inspection. And the sorry, the inspection cost is 250,000. And if we look at the number of inspections, what is the information given? We are given with the units. We are given with the machine hours. We are units per batch. How many units we produce in one batch? And how many inspections per batch? So first of all, we need to have the number of batches. So as far as alpha is concerned, we need to produce alpha 2500. And in one batch, we produce 500 units. It means we will be producing 5 batches of alpha. And as far as zeta is concerned, 8,000 is the total production and 1,000 is the inspection per batch. Units per batch is 1,000. So 8 batches of zeta will be produced. And if we talk about the inspections per batch, how many inspections will be done? So number of inspections that we will be doing is 4 for alpha. So alpha will be 5 batches. So 5 into 4 will be 20 inspections. So 20 inspections will be done for alpha. And for zeta, there are 8 batches and 1 inspection is done for 1 batch. It means there are total 28 inspections. So for a cost driver rate, we will divide this with 28. So can you tell me that what is the cost driver rate? 250,000 divided by 28. So the cost driver rate is how much? Okay, the cost driver rate that you have calculated is 8928.57. Fine. 8928.57. So this is the rate per inspection. Now, what is the requirement? What is the inspection cost per unit? So we need to find the inspection cost per unit of product alpha. It means the rate is 8928.57 per inspection. And how many inspections alpha has consumed? Alpha has consumed 20 inspections. So what will be the total cost of inspections for alpha? When we will multiply this with 20, we will get the total cost of inspections for product alpha. What will be the total answer? One 178,571.42, and we are asked for calculation of per unit cost. So we will be dividing it with the number of units, and the number of units are 2,500. So if we divide this total cost with the 2,500, then this will be your per unit inspection cost for product alpha. How much? Very good. 71.43. So this is your answer. C option will be the right choice. So in this way, you can do the MCQs. Now, I give you the time of 2 to 3 minutes. What will be the per unit cost of product zeta? What will be the per unit cost of product zeta? I am on hold and waiting for the answer. Please calculate the per unit cost of inspection for the product zeta. Okay, let me show you that the rate is 8928.57. And how many inspections zeta requires? Zeta requires 8 inspections, so will be multiplied with 8. And then how many units of zeta? So this will be divided with 1000. So what will be the answer? Is this same that you have shared with me, 8.93? Please confirm what is the answer. Kindly confirm, is this the same answer, 8.93 per unit? I guess this is not 8.93. Please just do the confirmation. So this is the right answer, 71.43. So the students who have shared 8.93, they must focus that what is the issue, why they do this. Although the calculation of alpha is in front of you, so you need to get your understanding with logics, not by cramming. So the logic is that the driver rate will be multiplied by the resources consumed. The driver rate is per inspection. So we will multiply with the number of inspections. For alpha, number of inspections are 20. And for zeta, number of inspections are 8. Where it, sorry. The number of units are 8,000. Okay. So if the number of units are 8,000, yes, very good. The number of units are 8,000. So you need to divide with the number of units, not with the number of units in one batch. So 8,000. I guess now this will be 8.93. So if this is 8.93, then you have done the question in a right way. So basically you will need to divide with the number of units, and the number of units are 8,000, not 1,000. I mistakenly chosen 1,000. Okay. So if this is 8.93 and mostly students have calculated the right answer, so that's very good. But if there is something and or any other student who is not having any understanding, please let me know. Otherwise, I will erase this. Can I erase it or you need to note it? You may take the screenshot as well if you want. Okay, which of the following statement are true regarding activity-based costing? So this is again for you. Please select the right answer and let me know. D, very good. D is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's fine. Moving to the numeric question. A company makes product A and B. It is experimenting with activity-based costing. Production setup costs are 12,000. Total production will be 20,000 units for each A and B. It means total production will be 40,000. Each run is 1,000 units of A and 5,000 units of B. Using the activity-based costing, what is the setup cost per unit of A? So first of all, we need to have the driver rate. The driver rate will be the cost pool divided by volume of driver. Cost pool is 12,000 and the base for setup cost is normally the production runs. Production runs mean how many time production will be done. So production run can be calculated by the information provided. A and B are two products. 20,000 units will be produced for each product. And in one run, how many units of A will be produced? 1,000. It means 20 runs are required. Runs are just like the setups or batches. And 20,000 of B will be produced in a production runs of 5,000. It means 4 runs will be required and the total are 24 runs. So this will be divided with 24. So what will be the rate per run? So this is the driver rate per run. How much this will be? $500 per run. And what is the requirement? What is the setup cost per unit of A? So we need to find the overhead of A. The rate is 500 per run. How many runs are consumed by A? 20 runs. So this will be 10,000. So this is the total cost. And we are required to find out the per unit cost. And how many units of A? So there are 20,000 units of A. So this will be $0.5 per unit. Is it clear that how and why we do this? So in this way, the examiner can test you for this topic. Moving to the next question is a theoretical one. You can do it by yourself. Very easy question. Moving to question number 35. A company uses activity-based costing to calculate the unit cost of its products. The figures for the period 3 are as follows. Production setup cost are 84,000. Total production is 40,000 units of each product A and B. And each run is 2,000 units of A or 5,000 units of B. So this is just like the copy question. What is the setup cost per unit of B to the 2 decimal places? So solve it and share your answer. I'm waiting because this is just like the copy question. I want to know about your understanding. So I'm on hold and waiting for your answer, please. Everyone should try to participate. So I must know that how many students are actively participating. Please do this calculation. That's very good that if your answer is 0.6, very good. I have done this on my calculator. So this is 0.6, very good. Moving to question number 36. The company manufactures two products, alpha and product beta. Both are produced in a very labor intensive environment and use the similar process. Alpha and beta differ by volume. Beta is high volume product while alpha is a low volume product. Details are given. Hours per unit, output, then number of purchase orders, number of setups. Fixed overhead amounts to 420,000 and have been analyzed as follows. So in total, the overheads are 420, but these are divided into three activities. Using the traditional method, so this is absorption costing based on labor hour, what is the overhead cost per unit of alpha? So this is very easy, that this 420 will be divided with the number of hours, and the number of hours can be calculated by multiplying the hours per unit with the number of units. So the first one will be 6,000 and the second one will be 60,000. So in total, it will be 66,000. So what will be the rate per hour? Please calculate the rate per hour. 420,000 divided by this. So the rate per hour will be 6.36. So this 6.36 will be multiplied for how many hours alpha requires. So alpha requires 5 hours. What will be the overheads for product alpha? Just multiply 6.36 with 5. In a traditional, we can do the question in this way. So this is your answer, 31.82. So we can write it to the 2 decimal places. Focus on the requirement. If it is for 2 decimal places, you will not get the marks if you will write 31.8, because the software is instructed to mark the question up to 2 decimal places. So you need to write it 31.82. So this is also a trick in MCQ based exam. So if the requirement is for the 2 decimal, you will only get the marks if your answer is accurate up to 2 decimal places. Now the question is same. Using a traditional absorption costing, using the labor hours, what is the per unit cost of product beta? So the rate is 6.36. We have already calculated. And how many hours product beta required? So this is again 5. So this will be 31.82. So this will be the right answer for beta. So this is just a very easy question. And the question is same. Now the requirement is that using the activity based costing as an overhead absorption, what is the overhead cost per unit of the each product of alpha to the 2 decimal places? So we need to have the 3 rates. For this, we will use the base volume, because the activity name is volume related. So we will use the base volume. So the total volume is 13,200. How? The sum of these two, 13,200. So what will be the rate? And for purchasing, number of purchase orders will be the base. So the rate will be per purchase order. And for the third activity, which is setup related, the number of setups, which is 100. So this will be $17.50 per setup. So we will calculate the rate. Is it clear? So after calculation of the driver rates, then we will multiply with the resources of product alpha. So please confirm the answers, give the answer so that I can complete the calculation. What is the rate of volume related? And this rate will be on per unit basis. And the second is per order. And the third one is per setup. 7.58 is the rate and 906.25 is per order. So when we will be calculating the cost of alpha, the volume related will be as it is because this is per unit basis. Then the second is purchase order. Per purchase order rate is 906.25 per purchase order. How many purchase orders for alpha? 75. And as we are going to calculate the per unit cost, we will divide it with the number of units. So this will be the cost of purchase order and then setup cost. The rate is 715.50 per setup. How many setups are consumed by alpha? 40. And number of units of alpha are 1200. So complete these calculation and then the total will be known as, and someone shared that the C option is 122.55. So this is the right answer. Very good. Is this clear to everyone? So hope so that it is clear to everyone. Can you do this question number 39? You will do it by yourself during the week. Question number 40. A company is changing its costing system from traditional costing based labor hours. So traditionally it is using the labor hours as a base. Its overheads are 156,000, which are related to taking material deliveries. There are three products X, Y, and Z. Total units are given. Delivery size is given. Delivery size means how many units will be delivered in one order, in one delivery. How many units will be delivered? So these are 200, 400, and 1000 for X, Y, and Z. The labor cost are 360,000 for 45 hours. Each unit of each product takes the same number of direct hours, okay? Assuming that the company uses the number of deliveries as its cost driver. So number of deliveries is the cost driver. What will be the effect on the cost per unit following the change from absorption to ABC? So first of all, we need to calculate the cost in absorption costing, and then we will be calculating the cost in ABC. And if there is an increase, we will select increase. And if there is a decrease, we will select decrease. So if I talk about the traditional cost per unit, in a traditional system, 156,000 is the cost of the overheads and labor hours are used as a base. So 45,000 are the number of hours. Each unit of the product takes the same number of direct hours. So we can say that 156,000 is the total cost of the overheads and the labor is used as a base. So what will be the per direct labor hour rate? Please share this answer. 156,000 divided by 45,000. Okay, 3.47 into number of hours. But the number of hours for each product is not given. The number of hours for each product is not given. So I cannot have the answers because I am not given with the hours per unit. Now, another way to calculate the cost in traditional system could be by dividing it with the number of units. So the number of units in total are 6,000. So I assume that because it is written in the question that the labor time is same. So if the labor time is same, it means I can use the units as a base because hours information is missing. So I will use the number of units as a base. So the number of units are 6,000. So what will be the cost per unit? The cost per unit under traditional system will be this one. Is it clear why I used units as a base? Because the upper unit data was not given. So this is $26 per unit. And now if we use the activity-based costing system, this will be based on the number of deliveries, and number of deliveries will be calculated that how many deliveries will be for X 5 and how many deliveries will be required for Y. This is also 5. And how many deliveries for Z. So in total there are 13 deliveries, 5, 5 and 3. So 156,000 is the cost of overheads divided by 13. So what will be the rate per delivery? So what will be the rate per delivery? So 12,000 is the rate per delivery. So X, Y and Z are requiring how many deliveries? 12,000 into 5 divided by number of units of X, which is 1,000. And for Y, 12,000 into 5 divided by 2,000. And for Z, 12,000 is the rate into 3 divided by 1,000. 3,000. So you will calculate the answer for X, Y and Z. This will be how much for X, Y and Z? So this is 60, 30, and 12. Very good. So is there any increase or decrease? We can now judge that for 60 and 30, there is an increase because previously the overheads was 26. So this will be increase. And for this is 12. So for Z, there is a decrease. So what you have learned in this question that if there is a requirement, whether the cost will increase or decrease, we can only judge the increase or decrease if we are having both costs. So we will calculate the both costs, then we will take the increase or decrease. Now, question number 41. In this question, you will read the question by yourself, then solve it, and then share your answer. Because when I read, I try to clear it yourself. Now I want to assess yourself that whether you are able to understand the question's language. Please read it, solve it, and share the answer. I'm waiting. Okay, is this question clear to all of you? Kushika said that B option, so everyone has arrived at B or not? No other student is responding. I'm waiting. Students, please share your opinion. Are you done with this question or you are stuck? Let me know so that I can move forward. Okay, it means it is clear to everyone. Now the MCQs are over. I hope that this topic is clear to everyone. And now the next topic is target costing. Before moving to the MCQs, I will first of all will give you the lecture regarding what target costing actually is. So our today's topic is target costing. So be attentive. We are going to start the new topic. Now be attentive. I am going to start the next topic, which is target costing. The way to calculate target cost is known as target costing. So basically, target costing is a system to calculate the target cost. The way to calculate target cost is known as target costing. So first of all, we need to know what is a target cost. Target cost is basically equal to sale price less desired profit margin. Sale price less desired profit margin. So this will be known as target cost. Target cost is basically the reverse of the cost plus pricing. Normally, what we do, we find the cost, then we add a profit, we will arrive a sale price. But in a target costing system, we start with the sale price, we subtract the desired profit margin from the sale price, then we will arrive at a target cost. If we want to know the meaning of target cost is basically the cost for which we are targeting, that how much cost we need to spend on a product. Let's say there is a product that we want to sell at $200 and we want to have a 20% profit margin. So what should be the cost of this product? So sale price minus 20% of the sale price. So this will be 200 minus 40. It means $160 is our target cost. We need to produce this product at $160. So this is our target, that the cost of this product must be equal to 160. So this is our desire, or we can say that desired cost. But in actually, when we estimate the cost, that how much material will be required for this product, how much material will be required for this product, how much direct labor cost will be required for this product, how much direct expenses will be required, and how much overheads will be required. And the total will be the target cost. The total will be the target cost. Total will be the estimated cost. And this estimated cost can be greater than, equal to, or less than. But let's say if the target cost we have calculated for a product is 165. And what was the target cost? 160. Estimated cost was 165 and the target cost was 160. So there is a difference between the estimated cost and the target cost. This will be known as target cost gap. So there is a target cost gap. It means we reduce to estimated cost by $5 because there is a gap between estimated cost and the target cost. So we can write a formula that target cost gap is equal to estimated cost minus target cost. So there will be a target cost gap. And if the estimated cost is lower, then there will be a negative cost gap. And negative cost gap is good for the organization, because negative cost gap will be showing the profit. And positive cost gap will be showing a loss, because our estimated cost shows that 165 will be spent on this product, but we have a target of 160. So there will be a lesser profit. So this gap is representing just like a loss. We need to close this gap. We need to close this gap. To close this gap means the gap should be 0. And how we can close the gap? This is the most common theoretical question in exam. How to close the target cost gap? We can go for the alternative cost of material, because we know that this 165 is calculated by having some dollars here for material, for labor, for expenses, for overheads. So we can only cut the cost to 160 by changing the cost of materials, labor, expenses, or overheads. So what we need to do is we will discuss the different patterns that how we can close the gap. So basically, in a target costing environment, the first thing that the examiner can ask you to calculate the target cost, and the formula to calculate the target cost is very simple: sale price minus desired profit margin. Now listen carefully. The sale price and desired profit margin information will be given in the question, and you will be required to calculate the target cost. So this is the first type of the question that the examiner can ask you to calculate the target cost. The second type of the question that the examiner can ask you is to calculate the target cost gap. So for a target cost gap, you need to understand the concept of the gap, which is just a simple formula of estimated cost less target cost. So there will be a gap. So this is the second calculation that the examiner can require from you in paper. And the third one is related to how to close the target cost gap. This is basically the theoretical MCQs, that how the company can possibly close the gap. So these are the three requirements that examiner normally assess you in the exam. So let me show you the handouts or the book. I'm opening the volume 1 handouts. Please wait while the file is opening. So here are the handouts. So from the page number 16, the topic is target costing. So there is a definition of target costing, target cost, then implementation of the target costing system, the target cost gap, and here the reading for closing the target cost gap. When a product is manufactured, its target cost may well be much lower than its currently attainable cost, which is determined by the current technology and the process. Management can then set a benchmark for improvement towards the target cost. By improving the technologies and processes, various techniques can be employed. Reducing the number of components, so we can by reducing the number of components, we can save the cost. Using a cheaper staff, using standard components where possible. Standard components mean we will use the standard size component. We will not go for the customized one. Then acquiring a new, more efficient technology, training the staff in a more efficient techniques, cutting out non-value added activities, and using different materials identified activity analysis. So even if the product can be produced within the target cost, the story does not end there. Target costing can be applied throughout the entire life cycle. So we can use it so and so. Once the product goes into the production, the target cost will therefore gradually be reduced. So every time we need to save some cash because we want to be more competitive. So if we will be lowering the cost of our products, we will be getting more number of orders. These reductions will be incorporated into the budgeting process. This means that the cost savings must be actively sought and made continuously over the life of the product. So target costing can be implemented to the service industries or not. So let me tell you something about the service industry. Basically, in the service industry, services are having different characteristics. It is very difficult to apply the target costing environment in the service industry because we know that every services are unique. Let me give you an example of hospital services. Let's say you go for a surgery or any patient goes for a surgery. So hospital is offering the surgical services, and if we can say that we will only spend this amount of money for that one surgery, so it will not be a logical one because the surgery might be complicated, might be unique for each patient. So in every service industry, the characteristics of the service industries are different from the products, whereas the products are having the same standardized outputs, but the services are different. If we study the characteristics, simultaneity, we all know that what is the meaning of simultaneity. Simultaneity means the products, the services are consumed as they are being received. Just like I'm delivering you the lectures, you are getting the knowledge, getting the time of the teachers, so your fees expiring. Although in a virtual environment you can have the recordings, but if the recordings are not for the lifetime, they will be available only for a certain time period. So services are basically simultaneously consumed. Then heterogeneity. Heterogeneity mean every services is a unique. For example, if you are here in this class, you are getting the services of performance management, not any other subject. So every customer is having practically in the service industry different requirement. For example, if you go to a doctor, maybe your different treatment will be required as compared to the other patient. So the services are mostly heterogeneous. So being a heterogeneity component in the services, it is difficult to set a target cost. Then services are intangible. For example, you go to a consultant. So consultancy is a intangible thing. So for any intangible thing, it is difficult to set a fixed target cost. Then perishability, services are inevitably perishable because they cannot be stored. If you go to a consultant, you need to pay the consultancy fee every time based on hours or whatever base you are agreeing. So being having this characteristic, it is difficult to apply the service industries target costing in the service industry. Then in a service industry, you will not be given the transfer of ownerships, whereas in case of a products, the ownership is transferred. Then in most of the service industries, customer focuses on qualitative factor. For example, whenever you go for a teacher selection, whenever you go for a doctor, you do not look for the pricing. You always look for the best quality treatments. So if you are going for a surgery, you will not be thinking of to save money. You will always be focusing on the safety. So in where you are focusing on the qualitative factors, then in that qualitative environment, it is very impractical and difficult to apply a set principles of target costing system. So what is the conclusion of my discussion? My discussion's conclusion is that it is not logical, it is not practical to implement the service industries, to implement the target costing principle in service industries, because of the characteristics of service industries as well as the information requirement. So there are two reasons, the characteristics and the information requirement. As far as the characteristics are concerned, the services are simultaneous, heterogeneous, intangible, perishable. And as far as their information requirement for the customer is concerned, the customer is focusing on the qualitative factors instead of quantitative factors. Is it clear? So it is not practically logical to implement the principles of target costing in a service industry. So you need to keep these things in your mind while answering the theoretical questions related to target costing system. Everyone is requested to confirm whether this concept is clear to all of you. You can read the same topic from your study text as I shared with you. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions. A car manufacturer wants to calculate the target cost of a new car, the price of which will be this one. The company requires 8% margin. What is the requirement? The target cost. So the target cost is equal to sale price 17,950 minus profit margin 8%, and we know that margin is based on price. So 8% of the price will be calculated. So what will be the target cost? This is a very simple question for the basic calculation of target cost. So this is 16,514. Now moving to a bit complex question. There is some story that a game company is selling a game at $60. Its specification has given the estimated cost. The estimated cost is material, labor, machinery cost, ordering, quality, other costs, and so on. So what is the estimated cost? This is your estimated cost. So what will be the sum of these figures? This is estimated cost as per specification and the ingredients of this product. These are the estimations. And the target profit margin is 30%. It means target cost will be equal to $60 minus 30% margin. So 60 minus 18 will be 42. This is target cost. If you have joined the class today, watch the lecture number 1. In that, I have given the detail how you can get the study material. You will send me a message on WhatsApp. I will send you. And one WhatsApp group will be also created. But before that, you can send me a text. I will share you the material. Please give the total of estimated cost. So 45.89 is the estimated cost. And the target cost is 42. So what is the gap? The gap is $3.89. So this is a bit complex, but not the fully exam level question. So the requirement is calculate the target cost. The target cost is 42 and the target cost gap. So the gap is also calculated. I hope the whole process is clear. But as far as exam question is concerned, mostly examiner twist the question by giving some incomplete informations, and that incomplete information will be, I guess, tested in example 3. So if you are okay with this illustration, I will move to the next. I hope you are okay with this illustration. Now, moving to the next question, I have skipped the theoretical part. Sorry, I was disconnected. And I was telling you that in this question, there is some typing error. It is missed that how much is the profit margin. We assume that the profit margin is 20%. So I assume that profit margin is 20%. So this will be 240 minus 48. So what will be the target cost? What will be the target cost? 192. Okay. Now, the second thing we need to calculate is the estimated cost. And for estimated cost, the information is given. We will read the information and copy the information here. There is a circuit board requires which cost 50 pounds. So the cost of the circuit board, the currency in this question is the pounds. So we will use the pound signs. So the cost is 50 pounds. And it is purchased in a batches of 5,000 and there is a delivery cost of 7,500 pounds per batch. So there will be the delivery cost on it as well. 7,500 is the total cost for 5,000 boards. So this will be 1.5. Okay. Moving to the second point. Each camcorder needs 50 centimeter of wiring with a normal loss of 10%, which costs 3 per meter. So what is the treatment of this? 10%, it means we need to put the 10% extra. You have studied in process costing, in management accounting, that if we input in a process, there is an output plus there is some normal loss. Output is 50 centimeters. How much input should be done? And the loss is 10%. We all know that 10% will be of the input because as per the rule of the process, how much material we input in a process, the loss percentage is applicable to that input. So this will be x minus 0.10x or is equal to 50 centimeter. Or we can say that this is 90% because we know that if 100% is put into a process and there is a 10% loss, it means the output is equal to 90%. We can directly write it as this one. No need to do the detailed calculation. If you are okay with the concept, you can even directly calculate the x. So the value of x means the value of input. So this material should be input into the process. So how many centimeters should be put into process? Because there is a loss as well. So we need to put extra wiring so that the output will be equal to 50 centimeters. I hope you all are remembering this concept of process costing, that whatever we input, we get the output, and the loss percentage is normally applicable to input until unless it is given in the question that the loss will be on output. Otherwise, if the loss is silent, then it is always as a percentage of input. So how much will be the answer of input of the wire? I'm waiting, students. 50 over 0.9. So 55.56 centimeter. Okay, fine. So the cost of wiring will be, if we look at the question, the rate is per meter, but here the figures are in centimeters. So we need to convert this centimeters into meters, 55.56 centimeters. And if we want to convert the centimeters into meter, we am I audible? And I hope screen is also visible. Suddenly I got some problem in the net. Might be due to bad weather here. Okay, I was explaining you the working of the wiring. Have you understand the wiring working? So what will be the answer? I haven't received the answer of this. So this is 1.67. If there is any confusion, you may ask. Otherwise, I assume that you are okay with this calculation. Then there is a cost of other materials, 12.5 per camcorder. So per unit, there is a cost of 12.5, and the name of this cost is other materials. Other materials mean any other materials other than those discussed, circuit board and wiring. Then the next point is related to, it takes 2 hours to assemble each unit at 10 per hour. So there is a labor cost for 2 hours, and the rate per hour is 10 pounds. So this is 20 pounds for labor cost. With 6 per day, there are 16 hours, 6 days, and 50 weeks in the year. And Z has 100 workers available for this task. So the total hours can be calculated 16 into 6 into 50. How much this will be? If I talk about the total labor hours, 16 hours in one day multiplied by 6 days in a week multiplied by 50 weeks in a year. So annual labor hours will be how much? So this is 4,800 and there are total 100 workers. It means multiplied by 100. So annually, these are 480,000 labor hours annually. So this is the budgeted capacity. We can say that this is the budgeted capacity of this company in terms of labor hours. This budgeted capacity will be used in some next calculation, but not in the point number 4. Then there are the total overheads, and the overheads are given on month-wise basis, month 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 months past data. There are hours and the cost. And if we look at the hours, so the hours are on monthly basis. So if we want to convert the per month hours, so how many hours will be on 1 month? So we can simply divide 480,000 with if there will be one more time disconnection, then I will end the class. But I hope that it will now be okay. because now the weather is much better. I was explaining that in point number 5, there are some production overhead cost given on a month-wise basis. And if we look at the data, there are the past 3 months data having different activity levels. So we can assume that these overheads are semi-variable overheads. And we know in management accounting paper that semi-variable cost can be divided into two components by the help of high-low method. So if we look at this is the lowest activity and the cost. This is the highest activity and the cost. So we can find out the variable overheads by having a difference in cost of highest activity and the lowest activity cost, dividing with the highest activity level and subtracting with the lowest activity level. So what will be the variable overheads? 90,000 divided by 3,000. So this will be $30 per hour. So this is the variable overheads, $30 per hour. Is it clear that how I have calculated the variable overhead? Basically use the high-low method to segregate the semi-variable cost into variable and fixed components. So this is 30,000, sorry, 30 per hour, not the 30,000. So we'll write it here, variable overheads. Variable overheads, working one. And what is the working one that I have done? $30 into how many hours are required for one camcorders? 2. So 60 will be the variable overheads. And what about fixed overheads? And fixed overheads will be done by using that data. There is a total cost y is equal to a plus bx. And we have calculated the B mean variable overhead cost, and X is the activity level. Activity level can be any level from high or low level. So I choose the low level. And the total cost Y at 22,000 is 790,000. So I will solve for A. So this will be 790,000 minus, this is 660,000. So this is A. So the A will be how much? How much will be the A? A is showing the fixed cost, fixed overheads. Students, are you with me? Listening me? Okay, 130,000 is the fixed overheads. And we have studied today that the fixed overheads are absorbed. So the OAR will be calculated to have a budgeted level, and the budgeted level and this information that we have already done, the budgeted capacity. So on a monthly basis, why I use the monthly? Because the data was given on monthly basis. So what is the overhead absorption rate per hour? 130,000 divided by 40,000. So OAR, overhead absorption rate. So this is 3.25 per hour. It means the fixed overheads are 3.25 per hour and there are 2 hours of labor required. So this is 6.50. So this is all about the cost. So the estimation is completed. So we will make a total of estimated costs. So what is the total of the estimated cost? Take a total of these costs. So what will be the total of these estimated costs? So this was a little bit complex question, a lengthy one. But as you know that this topic will be asked in MCQs, not in a long question. So what will be the benefit of doing the long question? The benefit is that we will be tackling the MCQs in a very easiest way. Just like in the previous lecture, we have done with activity-based long questions. And today we are dealing with the MCQs very easily. So this is the estimated cost 152.17 and the target cost we have calculated 192. So there is a negative cost gap. Here in this question, there is a negative cost gap. Negative cost gap is beneficial. But I guess that this is not 20%, this might be 40% because this Before I will be disconnected again, after completion of this, I will end the class so that there will be no problem at all because I feel that it will continue for a few minutes. Yes, I am back now. I hope you are hearing me as well as screen is visible. I was telling that after completion of this question, we will end today's class because due to this is uninterrupted things are going on. And it is beyond my control. I don't know why this is happening just half an hour ago. Am I audible and screen is visible to you? We just complete this question. Only last line of the target cost gap is remaining. I was telling you that in the question, the desired profit percentage was 40%, I guess. So if this is 40%, there will be the target cost. How much will be the target cost? 240 minus 96, 144. So if this is 144, then there will be a positive cost gap. And positive cost gap is showing a loss. Loss means we will be having a lesser profit than our desire. So there will be 8.17 positive cost gap. So we need to close that gap. I hope you are okay with this understanding for our today's topic. The topic is complete and the topic is complete. And one thing that we need to do is the practice of the MCQs. We will do the practice MCQs in the coming class, or even during the week, you can try the MCQs from question number 42 onwards. So there will be the calculation as well as numeric questions. I hope you will feel the numeric and calculation questions very easy. You can try it, and I will encourage you to try it because the topic is very easy. And at the start of the next lecture, you will let me know whether I need to solve these questions or I should go for the next topic. So due to the continuous interruptions by my connection, I don't know why this is happening. The first 2 hours are very smoothly gone, but from last few minutes, it is disconnecting again and again. So it is better to end the class today because I feel that due to bad weather, there is some problem. Uh, if there is any question or any suggestion, because now 2 lectures are going on, I hope you have found the questions very interactive as well as very informative. So if there is any input from your side, you may. Okay, the 40% was missing in the question. I assumed that. But in exam question, you will be given, just like in the previous 2 illustration, there was a desired profit margin percentage given. I assumed, first of all, I assumed that it is 20, but while I assumed 20, there was no positive gap. There was a negative cost gap. Although practically there might be a negative cost gap, but here we were discussing about the closing of the gap. So we will always try to close the gap. So the positive cost gap will be closed. That's why I assumed a higher figure. But I guess that if you will Google this question, you will get this original question. This is basically a past paper question. And there was a 40% desired profit margin. So if there is any question or any suggestion from your side, please don't hesitate to share with me. You all are encouraged to participate while, and I am happy that most of the students have participated by solving the questions and sending me the answers. Actually, this is the way that a teacher can make you alive during a virtual class. The last thing, how was your first two classes? I hope it is good, but I want to hear from your side, or you can send me a text if you are comfortable, so that if there is any issue, I can improve it from now onwards. As far as internet connection is concerned, connection is very good, but I don't know why suddenly this has happened, that I'm disconnecting. So avoiding the interruptions, I decided to end the class half an hour before so that we can enjoy our learning. Uh, I suggest you to solve the working side by side as I was teaching you, or you can even take a screenshots, because it will be difficult for me to have all the screen. Sometimes I solve the question side by side on the book. You are watching it, but I cannot save these things at my end. So I suggest you to note the workings of the question. Mostly in the questions are solved in the solution as well. But I am not going to the solutions because it will create monotony. So I solve it my own self. My way of solving the question might be something different. So I suggest you to take it noting or note it while I was doing it. Even I can give you the time for noting if you people will tell me that please wait, so I can wait. The easiest way in today's environment is to take a screenshot. So you can take a screenshot of the workings. I will give you the time for the screenshots from the next class. We did not work that in the live session. Uh, I could not understand what you want to say. We did not work that in the live session. Please explain this statement. Okay, if there is something missing in today's class, just go to the recording. I will always ask you before erasing it. Although I have asked you to erase before erasing, but from the next time, I will try my maximum to give you the time for noting screenshots. So for today's class, you can just go to the recordings, and I will always ask you as well. So if there is no question or no suggestion from your side, so we can end the class. Take care. Bye bye. We'll see you in the next class. Can we end? Okay, bye.